Hey everyone, my name is Chris and welcome back to the Rideshare Hub. The Rideshare Hub is a channel all about being a better rideshare driver and making some more money. If you're new here, please hit the subscribe button, ring the bell for notifications. If you're returning, hey, what's up? And also if you're new here, what's up? But yeah, before you get started, if you've been thinking about becoming a Uber or Lyft driver, make sure you hit this links in the description below so you can get a sign-on bonus. Also, please give a good thumbs up for this video. All right, so today we're going to be talking about how you can still make money during slow times, like right now with the summer slowdown. And it's very important to understand how these things work and then where to go in your market to still make money. Now, several areas in this, in wherever you are, probably may never have a summer slowdown, actually might get busier during the summer. But for several areas, yes, it gets slower during those times because of many different factors, but it really comes down to two, and that's supply and demand. So we're going to talk about the supply first. So the supply, what is that? That's the drivers that are driving. That's who's out on the road, who's active, who's signing up, all these different things. Now, a few months ago, when I would refer a driver into Lyft, I would also get a bonus, which would be $500. That's not too bad. That was pretty good. But now, based on my market and what's going on, it's now down to $75 referral. So it's definitely changed quite a bit, and this is through Lyft. Uber's pretty much stayed the same at a $50 if a certain amount of rides were met. Obviously, each market's different on the amount of drivers needed and all these things. So, yes, that's essentially what supply is. So the reasons why supply gets higher in the summer, and meaning more drivers are on the road, is because it's nicer out. You know, kids from school aren't in school anymore. Obviously, you have to be a certain age to do this. But, yeah, students who go to college are not in college, so they have a lot of free time. Hey, why not go make some money when we're out not in school? So that's one reason. Another reason is it's not as inclement out there. You know, a lot of areas in the country experience snow in the winter or just bad weather, don't want to be out. Just don't have that drive or whatever. So they stay in or they do different things, which means they're not driving. So yeah, there's a lot of reasons why there's a lot more drivers in the summer than there are in other times of the year. So again, that's why supply is at an all-time high. It's like a crowded gym at the first month of the year. Everybody's saying, hey, let's go to the gym, let's work off all this poundage, and, you know, let's get into shape. So it's essentially that. All right, so now also let's talk about demand. So demand does also go down. You know, one of the reasons and factors behind that is schools are out. A lot of college students use these services to get around. So if they're not in school, all those rides are gone. Also, more people are out and about. They're walking, they're doing different things. So the demand is different depending on what's going on as well too. Okay, so that is the supply and demand side of things and what experiences during a slowdown like the summer slowdown. Now, how do you kind of immune yourself from that or shield yourself? And it's a few simple tricks that you can do. But the biggest thing is knowing your market. So if you know that your market is a college town, for example, and there's not many rides, you know, you might have to adjust where you are. Maybe go to another market that's close by, or follow where the events are, what's going on in that area. If you are in a small or medium-sized market, you got to follow where the rides are. So if you're near schools, that entire demand is going to diminish because school isn't in session. So you're going to have to know other areas around. A couple of the big things that you can really make sure to follow is, first, not just knowing your market, because you should know your market, but know the events that are going on. So there's a lot of things that usually happen during the summer. So there's a lot of people going to and from specific areas in the summer versus the rest of the year. So like places like pools or festivals or bar districts, different things that are actually having the events, you know, concerts, summer concert series, outdoor events. All these things a lot of people are going to be going to, so the supply and demand is going to be needed right there. That's where the demand is going to be needed. All right, so number 2, you really want to pay attention to the times you're going out as well also. So there are times during the day that drivers aren't out as often. And each market is going to vary depending on a lot of different factors. You could be in a town where the median age is a little bit older, so maybe there's a lot of retired people that are out doing Uber and Lyft. You know, so that means they're doing it mornings, but they might not be doing it at night. Or the other way around, maybe you're in a town where the median age is lower, so you have more people at night doing it than during the day. And you just got to know when the times are busy around. So you should be going out and really understanding your market. That's essentially the best thing you can do. So you know the times you go out and then the events going on. If you pay attention to those few things, you should be able to ride out the slowdown periods like the summer slowdown pretty well. Again, this is for certain markets. This isn't everywhere. You know, if you're in a tourist area, your busy season is when tourist season is, and your slow season is when there's not as many tourists. So you'll know the influx of things. But again, if you follow those few tips, knowing the events that are happening, knowing what's going on around the area, plugging into also social media for your local area to see what events might be going on, paying attention to that, watching when you go out, when there's drivers, when there's demand, when there's too much supply versus demand, and then the other way, pay attention to when there's not as much drivers and not enough supply to the demand, which then, you know, equals prime time or surge, and these different things. So make sure you follow those things, and you'll be able to ride out these slowdown periods. Other than that, there's a few different tips that you can follow that you got to figure out yourself when you're driving. So it's going to be best for you. So like, let's just use one last example. If normally you drive around aimlessly waiting for a ride, stop doing that. Sit in an area, wait a few minutes. If nothing comes in, you know, see what might be around happening and drive to that area and then sit and wait for a little bit. All right, with that being said, though, that's the end of today's video. Hope you guys learned a lot and how you can still make money during slow periods when there's too many drivers out on the road or not as many rides coming in as the average. If you guys have any questions or comments or anything, comment below. Make sure to ring that bell for notifications if you haven't already for all the great content that comes out on the channel. And hit the subscribe button if you haven't. Also, give a good thumbs up for this video. But with that being said, again, if you've been thinking about becoming an Uber or Lyft driver, make sure you click the links in the description below and also subscribe so you can see all the different content, all the different things and tips and tricks for being a better rideshare driver. But with that being said, that's the end of today's video. Again, my name is Chris, and this has been another episode of the Rideshare Hub.